Double game week 37 is here, my bench boost is active, and here is my team selection. Right then, we're going to kick off with my goalkeeper and defenders, and right off the bat, I am not sure if there is an obvious transfer to make here. Petrovic and Dubravka as my two goalkeepers. I know there's a bit of doubt around Dubravka and Nick Pope and when Nick Pope will return. Will Dubravka play 2 games in the double? I'm not 100% sure. I think he's got a good chance of doing so, but no one can say for 100%. Gusto, Chelsea have been playing well without him. Obviously, he's been out for a while with injury. There is certainly doubt as to how many minutes he's going to play in game week 37, but considering other defensive options around his price, other transfers I want to make, basically to take either of these players out, I'm going to have to take a -4 to do it. I just think it's worth keeping them in. Yes, I would like to get rid of them, but ultimately, I just don't think it's worth a hit. Guardiola, I think, is the best defender in the game for the next couple of game weeks. Obviously, a double this week, doing really well from an attacking perspective. And Man City, they're okay defensively. Yes, they seem to concede the odd goal here and there, but defensively wise, expected goals conceded, they're pretty good. And I think there's one or two at least clean sheets to come over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to keep hold of White and Gabriel. I'm going to sit on any urge to get rid of them for maybe a Tottenham defender, someone like that. The thought for me, getting rid of an Arsenal defender for a Tottenham defender for a hit this week, which I'd have to do if I were to bring someone like Porro in, for example, it just seems mad to me. Man United failed to score away from home against Crystal Palace in their last fixture. Arsenal are the best defence in the league. Both of these guys are decent going forward. Yes, they've only got a single game week, but when you compare them to other defenders in the game, I just don't think there are many double game week defenders that honestly compete with them. I think you can pretty much guarantee them to play against Man United and probably Everton as well, so I'm just going to stick by them. The midfield then is where I think I'm going to make some transfers. Currently, I've got Saka, Son, Palmer, and you can see my sub number 3 is Sarabia. Sarabia doesn't look like he's going to play against Crystal Palace, and he's only got a single game week anyway, so I don't like having Sarabia. Salah, I would like to keep him, but he is costing me a lot of money, and I've only got 0.5 million in the bank in order to do something with Sarabia. Keeping hold of Salah as a differential, I don't think is a bad thing at all, but ultimately, in order to fund the moves that I want to make with the rest of my team, I'm probably going to have to get rid of Mo Salah. So a couple of players I'm eyeing up to bring in, basically. I'm going to do Salah to Phil Foden. That will save me about 5 million. I think Foden's probably the best Man City midfielder when you think of how many minutes he's going to play and his points potential. He's definitely one of the most important players in that Man City squad. I feel like they're going to be competing for the title right up until the bitter end, and he's going to play every game. I think KDB, when you look at the two players in comparison, right, that's the big comparison to make between Man City midfielders. I think KDB is, when you look at goals and assists combined, I think KDB will likely get more. But I think Foden will score more goals and play more minutes, which I think probably means he's going to score more points. That's just my opinion, and he's a heck of a lot cheaper than De Bruyne as well, and that allows me to make a couple of other moves in my team. I would expect some Pep roulette. He can always rotate his team at any time, regardless really of what competitions Man City are in. I just have a feeling with the form that he's been in this season, as long as he's fit, Phil Foden plays both games of the double, which then leaves me with a replacement for Sarabia. If you remember there, I'm going to sell Salah for Foden and upgrade, hopefully, Sarabia. And the player I'm eyeing up to do that is Anthony Gordon. The guy just plays every game for Newcastle, even when he's a bit of an injury doubt. He's in great form, putting up some really good numbers. He's really good value at 6.4 million. 26 attacking returns across the season for 6.4 million is really, really good value. It's genuinely on a level with the kind of returns that Cole Palmer's getting. And if you haven't seen it already, please watch the interview with Gary Neville. If you watch that and don't want to pick Anthony Gordon in your FPL team, I'd be really surprised. There's a little bit of a stat going around about him not being so good away from home. That's a fair one. I still think he'll do all right in Game Week 37 though. And of midfielders around this price category for the next 3 games, he's got 3 games in 2 game weeks, right? I think he's probably one of the best. All right, onto the forward line then. I've got Solanke, Mateta and Erling Haaland. Now, there's a definite omission in Isak, and I think I'm going to take a hit to fix that for Game Week 37. Solanke's got Brentford, which I think is a very good fixture, don't get me wrong. But then he's got Chelsea, final game week of the season. Bournemouth don't have a whole lot to play for now either, so I don't think they're going to be on the beach, but they don't quite have as much motivation to play at the moment as Newcastle do, in my mind. I do think Isak in general is a better option. I very rarely take hits in FPL, but I think Solanke to Isak, given Isak's got 2 fixtures, ticks all the same boxes. Solanke really nailed on to start, takes penalties, and I actually think he's probably a little bit better than Solanke as well. So for that reason, I think I'm going to go for Isak. He always seems to perform well whenever he plays for Newcastle. We all know, Newcastle a bit questionable defensively, but going forwards, they're having no issue scoring goals. I was eyeing up Callum Wilson to be a little bit different, but I saw on Twitter this week he is already an injury doubt for GAMEWEEK 37. Yes, Isak's already at 40% owned, so it's definitely not a differential. But I just think he's worth bringing into my team. Other than that though, Mateta is doing just fine at 5 million. He's got Wolves and Villa in his next couple. He's in really good form. Crystal Palace playing really well under their new manager. There's no strikers around this price point I'd want to downgrade or upgrade him from. I'm really happy to have him in my team. And Erling Haaland, I think, is the best captain for GAMEWEEK 37. So moves I'm looking to make, I'm going to do Solanke to Isak, Salah to Foden, and Sarabia to Gordon for a -4. And here is the final team then. Petrovic, Guardiola, White, Gabriel, Saka, Son, Foden, Palmer, Gordon, Isak and Haaland up front. My bench, although I don't actually have, well, I've got Gusto. Whether he'll play both games of the double is questionable. I don't think I actually have a nailed on double game week player, but I still think my bench is pretty good, at least good enough to use the bench boost on. Dubravka, Mateta, Gusto and Richards are my 4 players on the bench. Please let me know in the comments if there's anything else you would do or any changes you would make to this team. For me, I think these moves are kind of obvious really. I'm going to stick with some of the tried and trusted single game week assets because we've seen in game weeks, double game weeks gone by, they have flattered to deceive, right? Some of them have been really disappointing. Yes, of course, double game week 34 was fantastic, but some of the previous double game weeks we've had this season have been really poor, particularly when you think about Spurs. Yes, they've got Burnley as their first fixture, but then they play Man City in their second. So for me, the hype of getting a Tottenham defender in, other than Porro, is really, really low, and I just can't justify getting Porro in. So here's my team. Like I said, let me know what you think of it in the comments. Alright, and that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that. I've gone with the new graphics again for my team selection video. Made a few changes to them, so hopefully you like the new look. Let me know in the comments what you think of that. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like rating. Let me know what you think of the team, of course, in the comments, like I said. If you're new around here and want to stick around, want to see more videos from me, you can subscribe to the Golden Goal channel. It should be just there on your screen. Thanks for watching. I'll either catch you on my deadline stream Saturday morning or see you in my next video.